come in?
Please come.
Good morning, sir. 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 Thank you, sir.
So, you are Atulesh.
Yes, sir.
Very good name. What is the meaning of Atulesh?
Sir, Atulesh is an amalgamation of two root words, Atul and Esh. Atul means uncomparable, and Esh is a superlative qualifier. So it is like a phrase, uncomparable among uncomparables.
Acha, that's very good. Very, very good.
Thank you, sir.
And you are from a very good town, Prayagraj. Did well in 10th, 12th, even BSc Honours in Statistics. Very good. Then, are you doing some job somewhere?
No, sir. I have not pursued a full-time job. However, in my spare time between the preparation, I did pursue a few of my interests. That is, I like to learn about blockchain. So I have also worked for a few small companies in a capacity of a consultant.
How do you think it's very difficult to trace the data in blockchain? Why can't someone interfere and steal the data?
So in the blockchain, anonymity is, as you said, a major issue, and that is why it is very difficult to trace. So unless and until we can map an individual's bank accounts or real life data to his blockchain data, we cannot trace the individual. So we have to wait for the blockchain data to be successfully mapped to a real world government data in order to trace the individual.
Now, from one block to another block, the data changes very fast.
Yes, sir.
So, from block located at one particular server and the data located at some other server.
Yes, sir.
So, how will it be possible to trace the things between continents?
Sir, I would like to clarify something, sir. Apologies, sir, for lack of a better word. So the data is secured in a cloud environment.
Yes.
So it would be very easy if one is able to break the code of the cloud servers.
Cloud. But the point is that those servers will be having totally virtualized compartments for individual ledgers.
Definitely, sir.
Then how will it be done?
Sir, although the individualized compartments are there, the code that is for the each compartment is similar. So in case of very specific Bitcoin, it is a SHA hash. So sorry, sir. If we are able to crack the hash for even one block, we can successfully trace all the other blocks that are connected to it.
I think it is also said that it is in public view. What does it mean?
Sir, when we say that the blockchain is in public view, we mean that the peer-to-peer distributed ledger is open. So anyone who is operating a node can access all the data on the blockchain without compromising the identity of the
person concerned.
Yes, sir.
That's very good. Okay. Then tell me, what do you do in this teaching underprivileged children? Up to what class, what level are you teaching them?
Sir, this hobby of mine was generated after my class 12 exams. I was waiting for the board results and I had applied to various colleges. So the help at our house, she was feeling that her children were not being able to understand maths and English in the school that they were being taught at. So she pursued me, she asked me if I would be willing to help them understand. So this is how my interest developed. And gradually, sir, this has been ongoing for like the past 7-8 years. Children from the Sagar Pisha colony, if I may call them, sir, they have been approaching me and they are usually up to class 8, sir, and not beyond that.
Okay. So how many students are generally there which are mentored by you?
Sir, I would not say that I am a mentor because that would actually be taking away their agency. I usually support them in understanding specific chapters or specific issues in papers such as English and all. But the number is not very large, sir. It is around 25 to 30.
No, that is very good number. It's not
Okay,
a
sir.
small number, right? That is a very, very good number. Very
So
good.
spread over like 6 to 7 years. So that is this.
Okay. Just tell me in name, not name, but a state where we find 2-3 ecological features simultaneously. One is mangroves, then marshlands, the ocean marshlands, and then what do you think? What can be there?
So there can be areas such as peats and bogs.
Bogs and peats are not available here in this region.
Yes, sir.
In India, bogs and general peats are very, very rare.
Yes, sir. I
Then-
agree, sir.
Then what can be there?
Apologies, sir. I'm not able to.
There is something which people think are plants, but they are animals in the ocean.
So like sea cucumber, sir.
No,
Sir, corals.
corals.
Apologies, sir, for getting the hint late, sir.
Yeah. So Gujarat is the place where all these three things happen together.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
speciality. Nowhere in the country it happens except for that place.
Okay. So I was not aware of this information. Sorry, sir.
कोई बात नहीं. But now tell me only one thing. Why do we call corals as animals, not the plants, when they are not shifting?
So I believe corals are formed of two animals. One is the polyps, other is the zooxanthellae. Even they do not they do not show active motion, but they do have animal characteristics such as they feed, they have stimuli, and they have growth.
And so who cooks food for them?
So I believe the polyps take in the food and the zooxanthellae feed off the polyps in turn.
Okay. That's very, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you have heard about National Monetization Pipeline.
Yes, sir.
So, what does it entail? What is supposed to be done under this?
So I believe that the government is looking at new avenues to generate revenue for the capital expenditure that it is going to.
How?
So it is going to monetize the assets that are so far lying idle, such as land with the railways and various other hangars that are with the airport authorities, which are currently not in use. They will be monetized.
Now, tell me, what is your opinion about this scheme? Is it a good scheme, right scheme? Should it be done or should it not be? Or you have some reservations?
So, in my opinion, I believe it is a good scheme because it is utilizing the existing infrastructure that is already there, but yet lying idle. So this can be a great source of revenue generation for the government without much investment.
Not idle only. They are talking of leasing out and generating revenue out of even working assets.
Okay,
Power
sir.
lines, coal mines, railway lines, roads.
Okay, sir. So in that case, I believe the government needs to take a case by case call. At times, we need to consider if there is a social value attached to it, and if that social value trumps the economic aspects that we can generate.
The bigger question that comes is, rather than earning revenue from the revenue sources, what we are doing is we are selling or leasing out our fixed assets,
Okay, sir.
which can be only done once, and you are eating away into the future income also today.
So I had not given this approach a thought. But sir, I believe that the government is actually being overwhelmed by its service delivery alone. So I think it is taking a call that probably it is not in the good interest of governance to continue with economic activities also. So maybe it is taking that consideration and therefore going ahead with this monetization pipeline.
Okay. Now, some people are, after pandemic, some people are talking about a case for universal health care in India. What do you think about this? What are your views on it?
So I believe the existing PM healthcare, PM Ayushman Bharat Yojana,
Ayushman Bharat.
yes sir, that covers a large extent. Although it is not universal, but it does cover a large extent. And those who can afford private insurance are already affording it. So now we are left with the person who are in the middle. So I believe that the government should devise a strategy to support the insurance for those who are left in the middle. It can be a hybrid model. So the government can support part of the premium while the people can fend for the part of the premium. And therefore, it should pursue a universal coverage.
Now, who all are covered under Ayushman Bharat?
Apologies, sir, I'm not well versed
Which
with the.
section of people?
So I believe it is the BPL card holders, and it is trying to cover approximately 80 crore individuals, but I'm not able to formulate the specifics, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Atilesh, so your address shows Georgetown, Prayagraj.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the significance of Georgetown?
So Georgetown was named after George Yule. So George Yule was the first European president of Indian National Congress, and the Congress was held at Prayagraj, and the venue was Georgetown itself. So
But
it was.
Georgetown also has some other meaning. It's a capital of a country. Can you tell me?
Yes, sir. It is the capital of one of the nations of West Indies. I'm not able to exactly recall, sir. So if you would allow, I can hazard a guess, but that is where I would go.
No, there is no need to.
Sorry, sir.
It's Guyana.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Quad is an organization which has been in existence now for some time. Do you think Quad is a good insurance for India against expansionist policies of China, both on our border as well as in South China Sea?
So I believe that our primary responsibility is to defend our interests relying on our own capability. So although we can expect that COD can be a platform to discuss regarding containment of China, we should not rely on COD or any other external powers to come to our aid if the need arises. Therefore, the importance of indigenization of defenses and strengthening our own borders and as much as possible, trying to resolve the border issues as a bilateral exercise should be the focus of our policy, sir.
That is how you look at it. Okay. But do you see any future for Quad given the, lot of, I would say, discordance, in fact, lot of disagreements between India and US on so many issues, including the current situation in Ukraine?
So, as our external minister has also said, we now have issue-based alliances. And gradually the world is moving towards multi-plural world order. And India as a superpower, as an important nation, has a role to play in this world order. So therefore, we cannot ignore any multi-plural organization which on the face of it serves our interests too. So although there might be some discordance, but we have a very converging view on a lot of matters. For example, sir, like you yourself said, the expansionist policy of China, both in the continent and in the South China Sea. So that is.
So you consider India as a superpower because you use that word in your.
So I definitely believe that we are a superpower. Even in the very recent conflict of Ukraine and Russia, we can see that back to back we have been courting foreign ministers from at least 6 to 7 nations. So it would be immature to say that we are not a superpower if they were not courting us so ceremoniously. So we
Okay.
are the largest democracy also, sir.
Now there is a report called Our Common Future. Do you know what it is all about?
Apologies, sir.
No idea?
Sir, I have some idea, but it is regarding sustainable development projects. It was one of the earliest reports by the United Nations to propel sustainable development into public fora.
Yes. And this was the foundation for your summit,
Thank you,
the
sir.
first summit.
Yes,
on
sir.
research. Now, recently, you must have seen news item that internet has been used as a weapon, weaponization of internet, particularly against Russia. So, what are your views on that?
So I believe that any common resource such as internet should not be weaponized because they serve the larger goods. Even if the government of US does not agree with the government of Russia, they should take into consideration that even the average Russian uses the internet for their day-to-day lives. So it would be very harsh on the average individual who might not agree to the methods or mechanisms of the government that is there.
So, this brings us to a question that how do we, recast the control over internet, because this is presently under US control.
Yes, sir.
So, how do we go about it?
So I believe that ICANN has had a proposal. As you said, the ICANN is currently hosted by the US,
Yes.
but there is a proposal to decentralize it. If I may pursue this line, sir, there are 12 nodes that control the ICANN, and all of them are placed in the US. So if all of them can be shut down, the internet can effectively be paralyzed. So there is a proposal that they should be decentralized, located in all major data centers of the world, so that not one nation.
Yeah, but this has been going on for the last at least 2 decades, and US has not agreed to any of those.
So it is very much understandable that no one wants to give up power very easily. So it will take, and I believe that even agencies such as the UNSC can be involved to pursue, and therefore a pressure should be made on the USA to decentralize internet as the larger interest of the world, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You have not opted for your home state.
Yes, sir.
Any region, specific region?
Sir, I did want to keep my home state Uttar Pradesh as the second preference, but unfortunately, in the preferential order, unless and until we keep our home state as the first, we are not allowed to keep it at all.
Father is from Bihar, mother is from UP.
Yes, sir.
So father wins in a debate or dialogue?
Sir, it was my decision. I have been to Bihar on a number of occasions.
No. That is
Pardon,
not
sir?
this issue. I'm
Sorry,
telling
sir.
actually, the father wins in a dialogue or in a debate, because that is your hobby also.
Yes, sir.
Debate.
Sir, mother usually wins both in debate and dialogue.
Now, what are the commonalities in both the debate and dialogue, and what are the different?
Sir,
Give some examples of debate and
sir.
dialogue.
So in debate, usually we have two opposing views, and we have to establish our parameters based on those views. In a dialogue, it need not be, sir. We can have a constructive discussion, and we both can be on the same side of the issue. So that is a primary difference between dialogue and debate. Apart from that, sir, as you
It's okay. Give the example.
okay, sir. So in debate, we can have a debate.
No, example actually. One example of debate and one example of dialogue.
Okay, sir. A debate can be on a topic such as should hijab be banned in education institutes or not? And we can have both opposing views and supporting views. Whereas in a dialogue, we can have a constructive dialogue on how we can implement UCC in the country.
You believe in dialogue or debate?
So I definitely believe in dialogue. Having debated for a long period of time, I have come to the conclusion myself that dialogue produces more better
But
results than a debate.
it seems debate is not actually leaving you. You are carrying actually the debate tendencies still. I just repeat actually your statement. It will be immature to say that India is not a superpower. Now, this reflects on debate part or dialogue part.
Apologies, sir, if it came as.
No, no, this is your statement.
Yes, sir, that was my statement. That was my statement. It does come across as harsh and strong language, sir, and it does fall in the category of debate, sir.
Not only debate, it crosses actually even the boundaries of debate.
Apologies, sir.
Because suppose we are sitting on this side, I believe strongly that India is not yet a superpower. It may become, and we all wish that it will become a superpower, but I am not immature.
No, sir, definitely not, sir.
So you should not actually use this kind of extreme words.
Apologies,
So
sir.
that
Judgmental.
maybe
They are very judgmental.
they are
Apologies,
very
sir.
judgmental and that
Apologies,
will go against you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, my last actually question. You were actually, you see, teaching the underprivileged children.
Yes, sir.
Now, have you suggested the children that they can actually get benefit of a existing act and they can get a better future?
Sir, I have tried this. Sir, there is a provision under right to education that even in private education institutes, a separate quota has to be installed for the underprivileged children. I have done this, and so
What is
far,
that quota?
sir, I'm not sure of the data of how
No,
much.
quota. How much a private actually school has to keep it actually for this underprivileged children?
Sir, I'm not sure of the exact percentage, sir.
It is 25%.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
अखिलेश ये प्रयागराज name was changed, no?
Yes, sir.
When?
Sir, 2 years back from Allahabad, it was changed to Prayagraj.
Why?
Sir, I believe it was the prerogative of the government.
No.
And
Why it was changed? Prerogative के बिना तो change ही नहीं कर सकते ना?
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir, that time the government felt that Prayagraj expresses the heritage and history of the city, and also, sir, there is a push to develop the region as a historical site for holy tourism. Kumbh was also coming up.
Well, the name was changed. They said all this.
Sir, this was discussed on some platforms within the city councils. So this was a news for the local.
You are taking a very risky and wild guess.
Sir, this was there in the newspapers of the local. So
Okay.
that is-
Okay. How is it that Prayagraj was changed and Georgetown is retained? ये क्या कारण है इसका?
Sorry, sir,
You don't know.
no, sir.
And who is this George, after whose name it was named?
Sir, it was George Yule, the president of Indian National Congress.
President of Indian National Congress.
Yes, sir. He was the first European president of Indian National Congress, sir.
And what was his name?
George Yule.
George Yule. Okay. I take it. You are from Ramjas College,
Yes,
Delhi
sir.
University. Ramjas College has been called as one of the founding colleges of Delhi University. What does that mean?
Sir, when the University of Delhi was founded, there were, I believe, 3 constituent colleges. One was Ramjas, one was Hindu College, and the other was Stephens College. Therefore, sir, Ramjas College is also called as the founding college of
Yeah,
Delhi.
good. It's a good answer, but there were not 3. There were far too many.
Apologies, sir.
Can you name some alumni from your famous Ramjas College?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not able to recall at this juncture, sir.
Mm-hmm. Your hobby is interesting, teaching marginalized children. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, what does it mean exactly? What is your role in that?
Sir, I usually take interest in teaching marginalized children because they come from uh, usually it began, sir, with a reference, as I stated earlier, sir. So our house help, she needed help with her son's studies, and therefore she pursued me if I would be willing to take this up. And then gradually, sir, it was spread in the colony, in their colony, sir. And since then, I have been getting requests. And
There is a platform where you teach them?
no, sir, it is offline only, sir. However, during the COVID, I had to halt because of the issues.
You personally
that were-
teach them?
Pardon,
You
sir?
personally teach them?
Yes, sir.
What level of classes?
So usually it is 5, 6, not beyond 8, sir.
Mm-hmm. And you hire some help also?
No, sir.
And you single-handed do it?
Yes, sir. Sir, I do not teach the entire syllabus. I only take up some chapters or some specific subjects like
On
English.
their request?
Yes, sir.
On their request. Okay, relating to your optional subject, I had a thought in my mind I would ask you is that what is the Indian law, the legal position on live-in relationship and same-sex marriages?
Sir, I believe that the Supreme Court has not has declared them legal, but we do not have a legal codified law under which, sorry, sir, they can be consummated or they can be given the legal sanction, sir.
And you say that Supreme Court has given a ruling on this subject?
So the ruling was with a reference that they could continue with their relationship in the manner, but it is yet to be codified, sir.
You'll have to check on that.
Do you think the codification is required?
Yes, sir. I believe, sir, the codification is required because it imparts a lot of rights to the individuals. So, sir, a very small example. One of my friends is in a same-sex relationship, but they are not able to open a joint bank account. So that is an everyday issue they are facing.
That
But why
means
a joint
there
bank
is
account is required? Why?
So I believe they wish to take up responsibilities of the house in a distributed manner. That was their explanation, sir.
That is very personal.
But I would advise you to check on this because it is a very absolute statement to say that there is a ruling from the Supreme Court. So please check on that.
Apologies,
But
sir.
the last bit of this question is: what do you think this will once the law is codified and accepted? So will it really spread fast in our society, which is so far is on the low key?
So I believe that if a codified law is in place, it will definitely encourage more individuals and give wider social acceptance. So I believe it can give an impetus to this.
The law would give it wider acceptance, or the society would give it wider acceptance?
So usually, whenever something is also made codified into law, society gradually has been seen to give much wider acceptance.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So please wait outside, we shall call you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Please sit down. I will talk to you on behalf of the board.
Sir.
Would you like to say something about your performance quickly?
Yes, sir. So this was my first mock, but I realized a lot of things even when I was speaking. So first and foremost, I should not give strong statements ever. That is a big no-no, sir. I realized it later, sir. Second, sir, I need to be more prepared with regard to policies and my own DAF, the hobbies and interest section. That is something I need to brush up a lot. These two things I was very much able to notice. Also, sir, I at the end of the interview, I slightly got hesitant and I lost my um, ability to answer questions because there were a few questions which I felt I could have answered better, but maybe I was flustered or something.
But overall, it was good interview.
Thank you, sir. That's very generous of you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the board feels that you did very well, rather, and you are a smart presence in control. You have good content. Your voice is very clear. Your board will have no problem on that. Very well modulated, intelligent, good content. Overall, impressive presence and impressive performance. Right? You are confident, but let me now go over to few suggestions.
Yes.
You are confident, almost on the brink of being overconfident.
Apologies, sir. That was never my intention to come across
Okay.
as such.
No, intention तो नहीं होती, ये तो सीखना है. That is how it's one real mock interview. It's a mock interview. It's not real interview.
Yes.
And the whole idea is that you can avoid some of the things and improve of certain things which we discuss and you realize on your
Yes.
own. So when I say overconfident, it doesn't mean that you are making up stories or at times you did make up or you said something which were not factually correct. You assumed and said number of things which were not factually correct.
Apologies,
So on
sir.
that you will have to take care. You will
Yes,
have
sir.
to take care in the sense that you will have to introspect as to are you really sure, before digging in your heels, or you simply say that I'm just making a guess, but
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not very sure on that. Qualify it immediately,
Okay, sir.
right? There are a number of instances which I need not go into. Now,
Okay, sir.
the manner of speech, whereas you have this quality of a very clear speech, good diction, a good modulation, as I said, but then you put a lot of emphasis on few words. You kind of underline and bold them. You understand? And to start with, like you said, good morning. It is not morning, it is late
Apologies, sir.
afternoon. And then
Apologies.
you look at everybody, good morning, sir, good morning, sir, good morning.
Sir.
So it has to be the address of greetings has to be only to the chairman,
Okay,
right?
sir.
Good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir. तो late evening तो वहाँ है नहीं, तो good afternoon, good morning ही होगी. And then while you address the chairman, you look around and carry a kind of smile, a pleasant expression on your face. If there is a lady on the board, then after the chairman, you say, good morning, ma'am. Right? And if the lady herself is the chairperson, then you say, good morning, ma'am. And good morning, sir. I mean, you can add that. Right?
Okay, sir.
But not more than two greetings. Now, that was the starting point. And hereafter, you took off on few things. Like, almost on every second, third sentence, you were saying, apologies, apologies. It is, you are not sitting in a debate. It is not a TV debate. It is a very informal way of saying, find softer words. I'm sorry, sir.
Sir.
Softer words and softly said also. You were saying apologies, it is like saluting somebody, like complimenting them. Apologies, apologies. You were doing it continuously. Please avoid it. It can become annoying to the board. That is only one example. There are so many others. So I would say in a very generalized manner that please find simple substitute, softer substitute. Now, when my friend here asked you something about your mother and father's debate, after replying, you give a big laughter. Avoid that. It should be a soft smile. You made a humorous point. He asked a humorous question, and you made a good reply. But then please, it should not be very loud. Loud manner is to be avoided. Since you have good voice, you tend to go little louder. एक वो बोलते हैं ना, गरिमा हिंदी का वर्ड है ना, being modest, right? वो साफ दिखना चाहिए. You also said I definitely behave or something, and as I explained earlier, my God, you are telling the member that why you are asking a question which I have already answered. नहीं, तो ये तो अब हो गई. We are being frank. I hope you are not getting.
No, sir. So
perturbed.
this is why I've come for the mock, sir.
Yeah. So I'm happy that you. And why I'm a little overemphasizing. It may not be necessary to sort of emphasize it so much, but then this is the only chance you get to, correction. Idea is to help you polish yourself and prepare yourself better for the interview.
Yes, sir.
Content wise, of course, you have good content and you argue well your case, but please avoid mixing facts with assumptions. And of course, more you read, as you said, DAF तो बिल्कुल भगवद गीता की तरह है. Each column entries, you work a lot on those. Generate questions on each entry. 3 4 questions हर entry पे generate करिए और उनके answers लिखिए. Write down so that it becomes easier for you to, on the day of interview or a day prior, you can quickly go through it. I think that's all from my side.
When is the interview?
So on the 12th of May.
12th of May.
Yes, sir.
And if you have any doubts, you want to ask any questions, please do that.
Sir, the point regarding me manufacturing or taking a lot of assumptions, sir, were it on opinionated questions or even factual ones, sir?
Factual ones also.
Okay, sir.
One of the questions.
Georgetown.
It is not
George Yule, sir.
AU, who
AU
was
is huge.
President of Congress. This town has not been named after Georgetown. This is Georgetown. Maybe it has connection because a lot of Indians, particularly the sugarcane farmers, they migrated to Guyana, and maybe because of that connection. I'm not sure, but maybe because of that, this particular place has been named as Georgetown.
You see, that's why I said, okay, I take you on that, because I was also not very sure. I was only trying to find out why Prayagraj was changed and why Georgetown has been retained. So, until unless you are sure. Now, on the Supreme Court ruling, I'm very sure Supreme Court has said indirectly in some of the cases that live-in relationships are fine and things like.
No judgment.
But no specific separate ruling. And probably no case is even pending. I'm not sure again. So, these are matters of facts and very important matters. I mean, these are not simple matters. Georgetown still can be, is a passe. But situations like bringing in Supreme Court and quoting without being sure is little risky. Mr. Chairman, sir, अगर आपको कुछ कहना है?
No, I just want to add only one thing. Now you have very good background, etc. But one thing which is really important for the interview is to brush up your knowledge about the functioning of the administration as such. Right? Have you visited any municipal body or anything? Have you visited?
No, sir.
You visited. You have sufficient time with you.
Yes, sir.
You visited and actually observe what is happening, what are the lacunas. So you make a list of the programs or the schemes being implemented. Make note of them. Talk to the people, what do they feel? And then make your own opinion on single page. So one page for one problem. So take few A4 size papers and make this. Right? Number one. Number two, which is another important factor, that you might be knowing that presently our economic situation is very, very bad. And we are going to have a lot many new type of systems, especially rupee, ruble communication and all those things we shall start. You should have some knowledge of this new mechanism which is coming in force, right? Not the least, but is the last which I want to suggest, is that you basically brush all the critical issues of 2021. How will you get those critical issues?
Sir, I will look across the current affairs magazines.
No, current affairs are
Apologies, sir.
5,000,
Yes.
6,000. You can never do it, and you will be totally shocked. Now, what should I do? You just ask them outside. You will be getting these 3 books,
Okay, sir.
3 compilations, which have been prepared by me,
Yes, sir.
right? So GS1, GS2, GS3. If you find it convenient, just go to them. These are specifically made for interviews,
Sure, sir.
right? And when you are going in now for a very good fight with your own existence for next 1 month, because it's a long period.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is the most difficult time for you, because you have covered almost everything, and you are very much aware of happenings. Generally, what happens that during this long period, you tend to get bored of yourself, and you fail to understand, now what should I do? You not like to repeat everything again and again. So the advice is that don't attend many mock interviews. That will destroy the fabric which is at present in your hands. Remember it. Whatsoever you have got is good. Just gather knowledge, brush some mannerism, and remember one sentence: never speak anything which you don't know. Number 1. Number 2, never ask the board, can I make a guess?
Yes, sir.
This itself reduces your marks by at least 15%. Why should you make a guess? Making guess, it means you are not going to be a very good civil servant.
Yes, sir.
So never think of asking even that may I make a guess. If you
Yes,
don't
sir.
know, simply say, guys, sorry, I'm not able to remember it at present. I'm not presently aware of it. Simple, very simple, truthful. You should be honest and truthful with the board. Right? That's all.
But you have done very well.
Very, very well.
Don't worry about that part. Just
Otherwise,
avoid harsh,
is very good.
strong words you should avoid, and too many those apologies and repetition of the same thing again are not good. And speak less, to the point.
Sir.
ठीक है बेटा? All the best. Thank you.
All the best to you.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
All the best to you.
Sir.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.